Oh, God.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm going up again this Friday and next week Thursday and Friday because the primary babysitter's going to Florida again. So it's nice to get the extra time, but it's a lot of driving.
Yeah,
Where is it?
They're in Booth Bay Harbor.
Okay, yeah.
So it's
It's a lot of
2.5 hours,
Yeah.
probably from here on. Usually takes me closer to 3, so I stopped going too far. Found some nice health food stores on the way. If my daughter comes, we stop and go to dinner. But so I'm driving.
Yeah, I discovered, my limit is, before I mean, I will stop, but like, I drove, for vacation, I drove to, Skidmore with my daughter and then, Middlebury and then Burlington, Vermont, and then back, and I was like, okay.
That's a lot.
The stretch to, Skidmore, it actually isn't that far, that was probably, it was like, it was 2.5 hours. I think. Maybe it was 3.5, I don't remember, but and I remember I've been like, okay, once I get past 2 hours, that's, I have to stop. Like, I have to stop.
Well, it's just good to stand up and stretch.
Yeah. Well, she wanted to share the driving with me, so we found a spot, we stopped and she was like, yeah. I just need to stretch out, so we were both in the parking lot of like a random like hotel, so like yoga stretches and.
okay.
That's exciting though, it's in colleges.
Well, it is because she's a senior and all, last year and this year. Was like, I don't know what I wanna do, I don't know, I don't even wanna think about it. And, she was so overwhelmed with it all and there was so much, she felt pressure because that's all they were talking about at school. Like where are you going to college with the application process and in her English class. It was basically writing the college essay. And so she was like, it's everywhere and I can't think about it right now. So. Just taking a gap year or something like that, I think. Once second semester. I can maybe. Think about that.
Have you booked a trip yet for the fall? No.
Not yet.
That's okay, we're thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
Get out there.
We have some plans in motion, we just need to figure out a couple of things. Yeah. My husband would prefer not to fly anywhere if he doesn't have to. It's a fun story, my husband flew for the first time when he was 25. It was for our honeymoon and it was to Hawaii.
That's
Oh,
exactly.
And he has a fear of flying, so the first time on the plane, let's do it for 12.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't 12 hours straight, it was about
Yeah,
right.
5.5 hours to Arizona and then another like 6.
Yeah.
But it was just like, we
Wow.
laugh about it so much. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So, he's like, I'll fly again, cause we wanna go back to Hawaii someday, and we've always wanted to like
Yeah.
explore parts of like Europe and stuff together. So we will fly again, but he's like, if I can avoid it, like he's driven to Florida before, like the whole drive himself. He was like, I just feel better being in control, I don't want you to drive, I'm like, okay. So he did the whole drive to Florida. Matt and uncle live in South Carolina and we always talk about like driving down to see them sometime. So the place we wanna stay at is in Alberta, Canada, so to drive it would be about 2 days.
I did look that up.
Yeah, so driving, it's possible, but it's gonna take like 2 whole days of driving, so I'm like.
Just make it fun. I mean, like Tennessee
But
was
we
15
love,
hours.
yeah, we love road trips and stuff.
When I
but-
met Josh, he didn't not want to fly. He was like a cruise person. He's like, you can take a boat around the world. And I'm like, you don't have kids. You know? He's like, just take it, like, why does everyone rush? And I'm like, I totally understood his theory, but I was also like, sometimes you gotta just get to where you're going. So we'll work on that, you know, he flew for the first time last summer, ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we went to Tennessee
Yeah.
to look at the land, that was his first time. And now he's done it alone like 2 times, so he doesn't love it, but he's like, it does make sense, I'm like. Right, well, and we drive with Jules, like we drove to Florida with the whole family in the Buddha bus a few years ago, we drive. I like driving if we can take our time,
Yeah.
like if you can
Yeah,
do
me
5
too,
or
me
6
too.
hours a day.
Yeah.
And then enjoy somewhere where you stop, you know, it's
Yeah.
tough when you push
Yeah.
those oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
rough, but.
That's what he did driving to Florida. And then we got there like 3 hours before we could check into our hotel. So
Oh,
he took a nap in the car while I drove down the street to get donuts.
there you
And I was
go.
like, this
That's a
is
deal.
nice balance,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Drive for like 24 hours straight, take a 3-hour nap. And we were going to Disney and we were meeting his sister, brother-in-law, and our nephew who was only like 2.5 at the time. So I was like, you better take the best 3-hour nap of your life. Cause it's gonna be like for the next week, it's just, you're gonna have to be on constantly.
Yeah.
I wanted to drive when we went to Disney when the kids were small.
Yeah.
I have family in Virginia,
Mhm.
and so I was like, well, we can just go right there, we can stop there, and then we can. And my husband with the time was my ex-husband, he was like, no, we're gonna fly, I was like, but it's fun, like it's a road. trip."
It's
It's like, no, I don't.
fun.
You know, Allie is driving. I'm like, but you know what? It's we can stop for bathroom breaks. No, and rush. Sorry, I'm a little late.
That's all right, we are
Yeah, when
chatting.
I was younger, we drove to Florida. It was just, you know, me, my brother, and my parents, and we drove twice. The first time I was only 3. Like, I don't remember it, but I know we drove. And then we had taken a cruise with my grandparents to Miami when I was like 6, and then they did the whole Disney thing. And then when I was 13, we drove again to Florida. So when
Yeah.
my husband was like, let's drive to Florida, I was like, yes,
Well, because that's
like,
fun.
yes.
I think it's
So, sorry, there needs a little water everywhere. Yeah, no, it's so much fun over tracks.
Could have been nasty.
What?
Could have just tripped you, I'm so sorry.
No, I was watching, I was paying attention.
My ankle.
It's all right.
Long legs.
Good morning. So I'm gonna start with correcting something that I think we talked about in the yoga teacher training. The Radiant Sutras were actually written by a man. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
Lauren is a man.
yes. And so funny, on Monday, when I was doing the meditation with you, I was reading, and at first it was very creative and it felt very feminine. And then as I was continuing to read, I found myself changing the words because it started to become more masculine. And so then, like, even in the middle of that, I'm like, let me see. Like, let me look at his biography, you know, and it's a guy, he wrote it with his wife. So I feel like the honoring of the feminine in it, but I just wanted to make that correction. So then it got me going a little bit to see, like, is there one written by, or not written, but translated or with commentary by a woman, and I found one. So The Secret Power of Yoga.
Yeah.
Yes, do you have that one?
I do, I had a yoga therapist recommended a few years ago, and then I think Jen Smith maybe brought it up.
Okay.
She said it was really the only one that she had read that she could really relate to.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I'm starting to like see how, because when people talk historically about Patanjali, the one that originally wrote the Yoga Sutras, he's often referred to as a group of people. And so it's like, has me thinking about these sutras and getting together a female group of, we can be the modern.
Full body goosebumps.
Yeah, we won't be Patanjali, there'll be some other female, but that's what it is, right? Like that cross section between yoga and Buddhism, you can see that Buddhism was first, you know, and then yoga. So, and also time and place, right? When it happened in history and where it happened, that's all influenced the way that it's written and the way that it's translated oftentimes, so. Yeah, I do think that it would be very interesting to create another translation. We can't have too many. There's a million of them written by guys, so
It's true.
we could have two.
It's time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all good. What's up?
It's really past.
Oh, it's way past time, but yeah, it hasn't happened, so it just
It's a
has
lot
to
of
be
work,
time.
too, so.
Eh,
But.
depends how you look at it. But I just wanted to bring that to your awareness because I did say that, and I meant to actually say it at the end of the session, but then we started talking and I totally forgot about it, but
Thank you.
yes. And it still is beautiful, you know, like it has, of course, it all has value.
Mhm.
But I do like. I don't know, just the more I study, every single morning when I'm studying something new, I'm like. Wonder what this would be like if it was told through the eyes of a female. You know, it would be different, it just would be, wouldn't be as long, I'll tell you. It would be like a word and it would be like, just feel this word, right? That's where we're at today. So I'm going to probably, I didn't get very far into this new book at all. But I would like to see if I can find some parts of it and bring it into our meditation this morning. And before I do that, there was yesterday morning, okay, so Monday morning, I asked whoever was here if they could recall over the weekend any parts of the weekend where they were especially mindful. And so we had a discussion on that, which was great. And then I was kind of reflecting on that, and yesterday morning's teachings were about karma. And that, oh, I mean, it comes up often, obviously, when we talk about yoga and Buddhism and the way that we view karma in the Western world. It's usually like karma's a bitch, you know, like, but that's not true. I mean, it is, but that's not true. You know, it's the way that it was explained the other day, which I'm gonna try. I made a little 6-minute video too that's on the Joy Karuna playlist. So those are fresh words. So now I'm 2-day old or 1-day old words here. So I'm gonna try to remember what I said. And Josh had mentioned that he brought it up in the talk on Monday night. So karma is created from reacting to our emotions, basically, right? And so the reconciliation is when you come across yoga and Buddhism and you learn the path, right? You learn the different ways to incorporate or to practice or to live. When you live from wisdom, you obviously make different choices, and then it reduces your karma. You know, like the infinite birth, death, suffering cycle. And there's other ways to, I mean, there's obviously good karma too, right? So when you practice these wisdom practices and you live from wisdom and you do your best to apply it, even something as simple as not walking by a piece of trash that you see, like it's really subtle, it doesn't have to be major. Then that starts the wheel of long, good karma, because your intention is to help all beings. It always comes back to that. So obviously it always helps us, but like you think about that web of life and the choices that you make versus living in the reactions. The other metaphor that I really liked, that I've talked about, the projector and the projection, but even more powerfully for you to experience is, imagine you're at the movie theater, you're watching some crazy sci-fi action movie, right? You're sitting there, you're all ready, watching this movie, excited. then all of a sudden you're a character in the movie, right? You're the main character. That's crazy, right? And that's kind of how it is with our reactions, our emotions, and our reactions. We start to become that character. But then when we utilize our practices, we pull back to being the viewer again. And it's like a relief. We don't have to be in the tsunami or on the roller coaster. I would say we can just be on the people mover. Just a little train that shows us around, you know, you get to enjoy everything around you. And yeah, that's kind of how karma is said to work, which makes sense, right? If you keep on making choices based on your emotional reactions, you're gonna just see that over and over again. That's a pattern. We all have them if you look back on the course of your life, you know, but you can at any moment decide to break that pattern and make new choices. So that's how it was defined to me yesterday. And it's been defined over and over again. I feel like every time it's redefined, I'm like, oh yeah, because it's, I know, we all wake up and fall back to sleep. So I wake up again and I'm like, oh yeah. So that's that. I actually did want to start with a little movement this morning, just in our seat. So if you're on a cushion, then come off of the cushion. I want to wake up the spine and wake up all of our energy centers that we have. Because that was the study this morning, was on all of the different energy centers and how they feed into each other. And they're all related to our central channel, which we've worked with our 9-part breath. So very simple movement, just easy cross leg position. We're going to start just by making circles. And you can close your eyes. And feel into your body as you make the circles. If you want them to be smaller or bigger, probably ends up being a combination of both. And you're connecting with your breath, just imagining that you're opening up all the lines of energy from the chakras, and all the wonderful qualities that are related with the chakras. Right? Strength and love and compassion, feeling earthly and divine, and the elements of earth and wind and fire and water, energy. And you can change direction. And just listen to your body and see how it guides you, moving faster or slower, bigger, smaller. Maybe into some other movements. Always have that freedom. And when the circling feels pretty complete, just a seated cat-cow, moving the spine. We tone the nervous system. When we tone the nervous system, we move energy. Purify the body, the mind, the speech, the heart. And change up the legs. Whichever leg is in front, take it in back. And then take a couple minutes to move through the circling again on either side, and then seated cat-cow. So all the movements, so we even out the hips. All that energy at the hips is related to that energy just below the navel and even lower. time feels right, keep moving until you feel complete in the movements. When you get there, big inhale, reaching the arms either forward and up or out and up. Let's reach way up high so you feel a stretch, you find length in the spine. And then as we exhale, take the hands so they're right above the crown, exhaling and just smoothing the energy all the way down to the bottom of the torso. We'll do that again. Inhale. And exhale, smooth. Again, inhale. And exhale, smooth. Good. And then find your seat for meditation. Ever that looks for you today.
It's not because I don't want to be in the circle that I need to use the wall, so.
Yeah. So we'll start this morning with our eyes open. So find a point wherever, it can be down, it could be straight ahead. Where after you come into your posture, you feel nice and aligned, the spine is long. Remember the stack of golden coins. The chin is tilted down slightly, so we really open up for the oxygen to flow, for the energy to flow. The hands are relaxed. And see if you can find even more lift out from the hips. And you probably won't stay this way, but just for now, find that little bit more lift. And you can do that by engaging the bottom of your torso, almost like a Kegel feeling, right? Where you draw those muscles up. And you'll feel really strong when you do that. And hold that for as long as you can without forcing anything. When it goes away naturally, it's okay. And if you enjoy it, then you can always bring it back. But it should always be with ease. And then eyes are gently open. And as you're gazing at your point, it's not a focus. We're not focusing on one point. We're gazing out. So there's a softening that happens. And it's okay to blink, right? Blinking is natural. So we blink as much as we need to. And we're just working to still the eyes, right? To just calm down maybe the jittery feeling of the eyes or the extra flutters. So they begin to feel more stable. So stabilizing the eyes. With the breath. We have the beautiful orchestra of the sounds outside as part of our practice. And if you get to a point where your eyes are feeling stable, then close them a little bit more and see if you can stabilize from there. You really soften the gaze. And you're aware that there's no point that you're actually focusing on. Noticing how your breath feels. The jaw is relaxed. welcome to stay with the eyes open, but if you feel like you want to close your eyes and do that at any time. Maybe it's a combination of both opening and closing, softness, stable breath. Beginning to find even more calm within the body with the breath. And notice how it feels to scan the body from head to toe and what you observe. Gentle with all of it, all that rises and falls. We care for it. Then we come back to our breath, our center. If your thoughts are busy this morning, just take that seat of the viewer. Be gentle with yourself. Your body has aches and pains. Bring your awareness to each one. And care for it with the breath, with your awareness. Each point of discomfort, whether physically or emotionally, if we imagine it like a crying baby, right? We care for it just like we would with a baby. We would hold the baby and care for it until she works through whatever it is and the crying subsides and she returns to happy, peaceful state. Why wouldn't you treat yourself that way? This sentence in relation to the sutras, but also in relation to all that we do on our path of wisdom. Seek not to learn the sutras. Instead, seek to learn who is the one who studies the scripture. Seek not to learn the sutras. Instead, seek to learn who is the one who studies the scripture. Wisdom, it's within you. Connecting with that union with the divine self. We breathe. Union with the divine self. It offers generous insights into those parts of our being seldom visited. And it establishes the perception that when consciousness unites, we know we are divine beings. This is in every moment, not just here. When we're physically, consciously practicing, we integrate this into our whole being, our whole life, as it naturally reflects for us individually, as we get to know the one who studies the scriptures. It is time to recognize that when our humanity is in harmony with our divinity, every moment, thought, emotion, or action is infused with spiritual essence. Ties in our discussion before this from the Buddha. When you are, what you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. What you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. There's no need to analyze that, right? Sense the wisdom of that within yourself to follow your breath. United in the heart, consciousness is steady. Then we abide in our true nature, joy. United in the heart, consciousness is steadied. And we abide in our true nature, joy. Of course, at other times, we identify with the rays of consciousness, which fluctuate and encourage our perceived suffering. And we become the actor in the movie versus when we are the one viewing. United in the heart, consciousness is steadied. Then we abide in our true nature, joy. As we open to non-self or emptiness, we step into the ocean of infinite potential. And in this place, we can release the ways that we have defined or identified with things in our life, within ourselves, and others that no longer serve us. We can loosen up around the definitions and the identification. Giving yourself the freedom to swim in the vastness of infinite potential. Stay with our breath. We're aware of the body. Even through the guidance, we're noticing what rises and what falls. Continuing to care for it like a newborn baby. United in the heart. Consciousness is steadied. Then we abide in our true nature. Joy. Merge our humanity and our consciousness. Our true divine nature is revealed. The expression of this joy is infinite love, which encompasses and then transforms everything it touches. Everywhere we look, we see the reflection of our divine and joyful nature. We walk on the path of wisdom. What we see is different. when we identify as the actor in each emotion. Like the movie, as the viewer, we go through the whole movie. We experience the full range of emotions. And yet we know we're watching a movie. But we push nothing away. We tend to it. We care for it. And then it changes. Able to put it down to rest. Continue to view. Continue to expand out even further in that vast, infinite ocean. Just staying with the breath, with your body. Now feeling lighter in the body. Giving yourself some time here to imagine a Buddha above your head. Surrounding you with rainbow light. To strengthen our wisdom qualities of love, compassion, joy, steadiness, capability, creativity. Fill the channels with those qualities. We release our aversions, our ignorance, anger, ourselves with our rainbow light. We hold that image, we come back to our strong posture where we feel nice and upright. That lift from the hips and that drawing up from the pelvic floor. We're aware of our body, infused with the qualities of our wisdom. We ask the Buddha above our heads to enlighten our body, speech, and mind as we move through the day. Over and over again, you repeat to yourself, enlighten my body, speech, mind. Please enlighten my body, speech, and mind. Feeling that prayer, that ask throughout your whole body. So it's not just a concept. It's something that you feel, that you generate as enlightenment in body, speech, and mind. And then we let the Buddha integrate or dissolve into the heart. Deep breath. And just feeling that integration. Taking whatever time you'd like here. And eventually allowing this to lead you into a bow of gratitude, whether you just fold forward or you come into a child's pose like posture. Or if you feel guided for a full pranam where you lay flat out on the floor with your forehead down. See where you're guided to go with that. And when you find yourself there, you rest in gratitude. When you feel the gratitude settle, you rise back up. And it's when you're ready. minutes to share our reflections, if anyone would like to share.
It was so cool when you were saying, like, Brazilian, like Buddha will just dissolve in your, I was like, wow. It was just, I can't even describe it, it was awesome. I just
Yay.
felt like. I don't wanna say enlightened, but I felt like, I was like, oh yeah, just let it all come in, it was really,
Yeah,
it was really fun. And
Yeah.
I feel lighter.
yeah. You can say enlightened.
Happy tears or just like that around that time. It was just like, yeah,
Oh.
this is life. You know, and I'm just like. That's awesome. Also, this crystal stuck to my head the whole time. I was just like, I have like a funny little bump in my nose, so I was like, maybe I could get this to just rest here. And it literally stayed.
Wow, it
there.
actually
That's
looks
the
like it's
entire
meant to
time.
be there.
And this is from our property, so.
Oh.
Yeah, there's quartz all over it, so I was like, and I wanna put this stone in my mesa, so I'm trying to bring it to the meditation, so. And then it just stuck there, so that was like,
That's awesome.
it helped keep me focused too, because today's like my busiest day of the week, and I really wanted to just be following, right, be the student. Not, and
Mhm.
it was the best, so.
Oh, yay. You gotta get a picture of that, because it really does,
Yeah.
like, it aligns
Right.
perfectly when you see it.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
funny.
awesome.
I was like, if Jen, not that she would have, but like if Jen noticed me right now, I probably would have cracked up. Like I'm just sitting over there with the crystal like on my face.
I did notice you, but I was like, it's normal, I don't know at this point.
Right.
Well, that's what we're-
I look like
Anybody.
Chester. You're like you're
Yeah.
carrying around a bundle of rocks. But yeah.
Okay,
It's nice to lay down at the end too, like when we are invited to fold after, I feel like it's so important, you know, I think
Yeah.
sometimes. We want so many people to meditate nowadays to have access, and I mean, you can do it in any moment, but when we really get the integration of move the chest. Sit up, and then
Yeah.
like bow in the way that is appropriate for your body.
Yeah.
In your practice, I feel like we're really in it,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
not rushing.
yeah,
And that is
Yeah.
major.
yeah, the movement before, how did you guys? I feel like it changes
I
everything.
think,
I liked it.
yeah, it just, I think it brought me more into my body.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
sort of
right, exactly.
Not the thinking, oh, I'm really tired, I couldn't sleep last night, it just allowed me to let some of that go and just bring me into things.
Yeah.
And I felt a lot of joy today.
Wow,
It's weird. And, I just started smiling, which I swear, every time I leave here from one of these sessions, I'm smiling all day and people just look at me. Sideways, like, that's not my normal.
they're probably smiling a little more,
Yeah.
you know?
But I just had this vision, my granddaughter's latest thing is doing this absolutely wild dance to Mambo #5. And so when you were, towards the end, we were talking about things and all of a sudden I was just grinning ear to ear and going back from last
Aw.
week. And my son said, if she gets really difficult, just put the song on. He said she can't resist it. And she really goes. I can't even describe it, but that's what this brought me to today,
Yeah.
was sort of that piece of joy.
Oh,
And I also, the poem, Emery Hall, I'm 1,000 Different Women,
mm,
you played that at the women's circle, and then you played that at the beginning of class.
mm.
And that
Someone
is-
donated the book here too, by the way.
Oh,
I got to
they
get,
did?
yeah.
Oh,
it's in the
because the book
library.
is on my list. But it
I didn't
just
even know
brought
there
me
was a book.
there, again, that thought, which has really been something that is resonating with me in terms of what I'm working on right
Mm.
She's working on a new edition too.
Oh, really?
Out in the fall.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
What is this again?
Yeah.
what is the name of the book?
It's
I didn't even know it existed till
It's-
yesterday when I got the text from Stephanie.
Yeah, it's called A Poem of Rivers or A Book of Rivers.
Yeah.
And Trevor Hall's wife, you know Trevor Hall?
I do, yeah.
His wife is a poet and a writer, and so she put all of the poetry from like having her first child into an EP where Trevor's playing music and she's reading.
I'll
each
send it to you,
poem.
Joanne.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
is-
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes
It
long.
just
Okay.
gave me the chills again,
But you'll have it on
But it-
repeat for like 3 days.
Yeah.
but it is absolutely amazing. And so I've been coming back to that a lot, but that brought me to there. And I was thinking of
Mm.
myself as the toddler, when I was thinking about my granddaughter, which is through the years, the history of the women that we come from.
Yeah, I love that.
I just had a vision of like, in a few years from now, we're having another joy retreat up in the mountains and like imagine we could have Trevor Hall there playing music.
Right.
You know, like, and like, I don't know, I just saw a whole like vision of us all dancing.
He'll be asking us because of Joanne and I.
Like, I go,
So we've been hearing about Shamala and Bhavani. A festival, like a, like a music festival. Anyway. Yeah. Today felt like the right energy around
Was.
meditation, yeah. So I'll send out an email with that album. And I guess the name of the book, because like I said, I didn't even know there was, and then the book that I used today, I'll send that out as well.
Thanks.
Trying to find it now so I can say it out loud one more time.
Yeah, I think it's Made of Rivers, or like, I could also be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's.
Oh, it might be, let me check my text. I was looking at the book so the Secret Power of Yoga. And that is by, I'm probably not gonna say her name, right?
Yeah, I know.
Nishala. It's like Joy Davy. So that's Joy Davy is probably her yoga name, but Nishala. And then,
And she has a second book out too. I don't have that.
all right. And then, oh, she didn't say the name of the book. She just said someone funny too. She told me who the person was, brought a copy of, what's her name?
Emery.
Emery Hall book that you played at the Women's Circle and donated to the reading room. I said, oh my God, that's so nice. And she goes, she didn't want me to tell you that it was her. I'm like, why did you tell me that it was her?
Right?
Yeah, like, when someone wants
Love
to,
that,
yeah. Anyway, so it's in there, so check it out. I don't know where it is in there, because again, that was yesterday afternoon. But,
I had a client on the rail trail yesterday. She's 9 years old and obviously I was like, do you want to go see Joy? And we came up and into the tea room. She goes, are there any kids books in here? And I go, we had like 10 minutes and we pick up the book and it was the Are You Brave? She
oh,
just so happens to be moving.
oh,
Like the
wow.
whole book is about moving. And I just haven't had like too many moments in the library. Like I just haven't had too many, but I was just like,
Is that the
just-
one by Wayne Dyer? Is it Wayne Dyer?
I don't know who the author
Okay.
is, just like I think it was like one of the only like thinner big kids books in there. And then I was just sitting there watching like this happen, and I was just like, I can't get over this mess. I'm just like, I just feel so humbled and happy and just. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that story
Ah.
because the library is just popping off, right?
Right? Finally, it's getting its day.
Yeah, I know, I feel like it's the best room, I love that.
I do love it. I know. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you tonight.
Yes.
Don't be nervous.
I feel better about it.
Good.